Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I am Joey Francess, your life, love, and relationship coach. Thank you so much for joining me. Merry Christmas. I hope you had a Merry Christmas. And if my calculations are correct, this will be coming out on Boxing Day. So that means Christmas is now over. The wrapping paper's in the garbage. The lights are still glowing. And New Year's is just days away. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is when cuffing season hits the hardest. Family dinners reminding you that you're single. Maybe you have an aunt or an uncle that say, "So when are you bringing someone home?" Or your parents might give you that look, the one that says, "Hey, It's time to get over your shit and settle down." And then there's the cousins that show up with their partners, smiling, holding hand, posting pictures online, and you're sitting there thinking, okay, I get it. I'm the odd one out. And then you go online, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and all you see are couples in matching pajamas, kissing under mistletoe, announcing engagements, and suddenly you feel like you're behind, like you're the one that's missing something. That's the pressure of cuffing season. It's not just about wanting someone. It's about feeling like you need someone, because the world around you is telling you that you are incomplete without them. And that's dangerous. Because when you start dating from pressure, you stop dating from honesty. And we've already gone through this, the whole idea of dating from a place of want versus a place of need. Because when you need someone, and I mean, I'll probably say this again throughout this episode, as I've said it in multiple episodes, but when you need someone, you're willing to take their shit. You're willing to accept certain behaviors. Some may be bad, just for the sake of having them. See, here's the truth. Cuffing season isn't about love. It's about loneliness dressed up in holiday lights. It's about family pressure disguised as urgency. And if you're not careful, you'll mistake seasonal chemistry for lasting commitment. So before we go any further in this episode, I want you to sit with this question. Am I dating for the holiday, or am I dating for the future? Because the answer to that question will tell you everything you need to know about how you are showing up right now. Here's what cuffing season really looks like once you're in it. You meet someone fast, maybe online dating, maybe it's someone you already knew but never really considered until now. Maybe you're going through your little Rolodex. Maybe you're recycling, thinking about all the boys, men, women, girls that you've come across in the past couple of years, and reevaluating the type of relationship that you may or may not have with them. And now suddenly, the holidays makes them look more appealing. You start talking, you go out, it feels exciting. There's a chemistry there, there's a tension, and maybe there's a little rush of dopamine as they text you back. New Year's Eve comes, you've got someone to stand beside at midnight. The moment feels validating. You're not alone, you're not the odd one out. And for a second you think, hold on, you know what? This can actually be something. I'm starting the new year off right. I'm actually with someone. And then Valentine's Day hits. That's like the peak of cuffing season. Well, it's also a ledge, a cliff. The flowers, the dinners, the Instagram posts, it all feels like the relationship is real. But then there's the catch. Once it ends, once you go over that cliff, the pressure fades, and so does the spark. And now you're left asking yourself, did I want them? Or did I just want someone to get me through the holidays? And this is where cuffing season tricks you. It makes you believe short-term chemistry equals long-term compatibility. It makes you overlook the things you know you want in a partner. You start bending your standards, ignoring your red flags, and compromising on your person just to keep this high going, just to keep this feeling, just to not feel single or not feel alone. Here's what I want you to reflect on when thinking about this. Am I chasing the feeling of being chosen, or am I choosing someone who actually fits my life? Do I feel grounded after spending time with them, or do I feel anxious and drained? If the holidays didn't exist, would I still want this relationship? Am I building something that lasts? Or am I just renting comfort until the season ends? And we all know that's exactly what cuffing season is. Everybody says it and talks about it. It's almost as common as like pumpkin spice. You know, once you see pumpkin spice on the menu, it's, oh, we got to start looking for our winter fling. Because cuffing season isn't about finding the one. It's about noticing whether you're honest with yourself. Because if you're dating for just the validation, then you're just wasting your own time. Because here's the trap of cuffing season. It makes you compromise. You start looking at someone's qualities and thinking, well, you know, they don't exactly have everything that I want, but at least I won't be alone for New Year's. At least I'll have someone from Valentine's Day, and see, like, that's not connection, that's settling. And every time you settle, you're stealing time for yourself. Not to mention the fact that you don't know exactly how the other person feels, because maybe they're using you for the same reason. Maybe they're not. Maybe they're actually believing that there's something there. Maybe they're falling in love with you. And this lie, this extravagant web that you've weaved is now going to hurt someone and potentially ruin them for the next God knows how long, because unfortunately that happens. And then what? And then it ends. And you're back to square one. You're back to where it started. And you think to yourself, you know, it's springtime, summer. Like, I can go out with my friends. I can find more boys. I can find more girls. It's all going to be fine. But chances are you're just going to end up in another empty relationship. So I'm going to tell you what you need to do to avoid these things. And funny enough, if you've been listening to this podcast, you should know everything I'm about to say. In fact, you could probably repeat it with me. First and foremost, write down your non-negotiables. The deal breakers. Not in your head, not floating around in your memory, on paper. Because when cuffing season pressure hits, your brain will trick you. You'll start saying, well, maybe that doesn't matter all that much. Maybe I can overlook this. Maybe it'll get better. Maybe I won't care as much. And it's literally the exact same thing when we need somebody in our life, where we start making concessions, we start making excuses for them. And I can tell you a million stories of how many times people have come to me with that exact thing. One, just off the top of my head, talking to a girlfriend of mine. Actually, I think I mentioned this exact story last week, where she met a guy and found him attractive, and he had a lot of the qualities that she was looking for. And even though he had a list of red flags, she was making excuses. Oh, it's fine. You know, if he comes to me, then it's different. And if he meets me where I want to be met, it's different. It's like, no, this guy has red flags. Nonetheless, let's move on. We're going to separate chemistry from compatibility. And again, I've spoken lots about this, the whole benefit of online dating, where online dating literally separates chemistry from compatibility, so that we can find out whether we're compatible with somebody before we find out if there's chemistry. Chemistry is fireworks. Compatibility is building a foundation. Fireworks, they fade. foundations, the Colossus in Rome is still standing. During cuffing season, chemistry feels louder because of the holidays, because of social media, because of the pressures of friends and family, because we don't want to be alone. But you need to ask yourself, does this person's life actually fit with mine? And then even going back to what I just said about finding somebody that meets your blueprint, so to speak. Test for consistency, not intensity. Holiday dating is all about intensity, big gestures, romantic highs. But real connections show up in consistency. Do they show up when it's not convenient? Do they keep their word when the pressure's gone? And that is where you're going to find out if it's real or not. That is when all the little things are going to come together. Because there's literally a whole TV channel dedicated to the romance of the holidays, the Hallmark Channel, and all these like B-rated movies that they continuously play that everybody gets sucked into them. Well, the majority of people at least. And that's what we want. That's what we mimic. We watch these things and it's like, oh, I wish that was me. And then when it doesn't happen, you don't feel so great. But that's also the case when you find someone and then you have these grand gestures in front of everybody. But then it's late at night and you wish someone would message you and say sweet dreams to you and good night. And then they don't. Or you hope to wake up to a message of good morning and it's not there. The little things. Don't compromise on your person. If someone doesn't match your blueprint, your values, your vision, your emotional needs, don't bend just to fill the holiday gap, because the right person won't feel like a compromise. They'll feel like alignment, like two puzzle pieces going together that are actually supposed to be together. And you need to practice season-proof dating. And here's what I mean. Imagine the holidays didn't exist. No Christmas, no New Year's, no Valentine's Day. Would you still want to be with this person? Would you still invest your time and your energy in this person? And if the answer is no, then you already know what you're doing. You're renting comfort and you're not building any sort of connection. See, last year, a friend of mine started seeing this guy right after Christmas. It wasn't some big romantic spark. It was more like, he's around, he's nice, why not? They met at a holiday party, exchanged a few texts, and suddenly they each had someone to go out with. On New Year's Eve, she wasn't standing alone at midnight. She had someone next to her, someone to kiss when the countdown hit 0. And she leaned into that. She posted the pictures. She laughed about it with her friends. She told herself, it's fine. It's good. Like, it feels great. It's good for now. By Valentine's Day, it started to look like a real relationship. It even convinced me. Dinner reservations, flowers, the whole thing. From the outside, it seemed quite solid. I was surprised. I didn't even think that it would have made it that far. But if you listened to how she talked about him, there was no excitement. There was no curiosity, just comfort. She'd say things like, he's busy, it's fine. She'd make excuses for his lack of communication. And then she'd say to me, like, we'll figure it out, as time goes on. We'll figure it out after Valentine's Day. We'll see. It feels great. There's no need to rock the boat. And see, like, that's deflection. That's rationalizing. That's giving in to a feeling. And the funny thing is, when you talk like that, sound like a drug addict. That's what ends up really happening. It's that this feeling of this relationship is exactly like a drug addict or an alcoholic. It feels great. I'm going to keep doing it. I know it's not right for me. I know it's bad for me, but I'm going to keep doing it. And in this case, by March, the cracks were obvious. They didn't share the same values. He wasn't consistent, and she was starting to feel drained. And the funny thing is that when she started calling me to talk to me about it, she admitted. I keep telling myself it was fine, but deep down she knew that he wasn't the right person. And that's the cuffing season trap. It doesn't always look like a mistake in the moment. It looks like convenience. It looks like comfort. You can even dress it up to make it seem like, oh my God, this is like the greatest Christmas present I've ever received. I actually have someone now, someone to spend the holidays with, someone to spend New Year's with, someone to start the new year off with, so that I'm not single, I'm not alone. But underneath, it's just compromise. And compromise always costs you not just time, but energy, clarity, and most importantly, self-respect. I mean, that's pretty much it. I know it's a little bit short. I don't want to take too much of your holidays. Thank you so much for spending this time with me and spending time with me every week. I sit here not to just talk about dating, but to remind you of something bigger, that you are the architect of your own clarity. The holidays, the season, the noise around you, they all fade. What remains is the standard you set for yourself. This goes along essentially with the book that I wrote, Fate is Bullshit, A Logical Guide to Happiness. Accountability. Being accountable for yourself, being accountable for your happiness. That is like the most important thing. And that includes this stuff. Because sometimes the pressures of outside, TV, movies, I mean, you just turn on Netflix and it just wants to continuously show you like romantic holiday Christmas movies. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. Some of them are actually pretty good. But then it reminds us like a mirror, like showing us like what we're missing in our life. And then it becomes, I need to fill this hole versus I need to find the right fit. Carry that forward with you. Because when you hold yourself with honesty and alignment, you invite others to rise up to that level too. The way you choose, the way you love, the way you show up, it becomes a signal. And the right people will recognize it. Think of it like walking into a room with clarity. You don't have to announce it. You don't have to prove it. People feel it. They see it in the way you carry yourself, the way you speak, and the way you protect your standards. The energy is magnetic. It draws in those who are ready, and it filters out those who are not. And that's the beauty of living aligned with yourself, aligned with your choices, being accountable. You stop chasing, you stop convincing, and you stop bending, and instead you become the standard. You become the reminder that connection isn't about fulfilling space. It's about building something worthy with your time, your vision, and your love. And being single, it's not a curse. First, you need to be happy. You need to supply your own happiness. Not looking for someone else to make you happy, because that is doing something out of a need. And what did I say? What have I always said? When you do something out of a need, you're inviting people to treat you badly. You're inviting people to not be the right one for you. And you accept it. And you will make excuses. And you will look the other way, even though it hurts, because you're getting the thing you want, a thing that's at the top of your list, which is, I want someone there. Second, being single is a testament to your deal breakers, your standards, and your boundaries, keeping you safe from unfulfilling relationships. Think about that. Look at it. You being single is doing you a justice of you not wasting your time with the wrong people. And thirdly, take time to focus on friends and family. This is a beautiful time for that. All those people that you have in your life that maybe throughout the year you're too busy to talk to or to message, to go out with. Think about doing it now rather than focusing on yourself and you're being single and your idea that you're alone. Think about all the people that you have in your life, even those that you've neglected, and hit them up. Contact them. Make those relationships stronger instead of jumping into something that's just temporary. And if that's not an option, then focus on becoming your own best friend. Focus on you. I had this conversation with a girlfriend of mine who she chose to book something for her birthday by herself. Grand gesture because it's a big birthday. And she said it to me. She's like, I thought that I needed to have someone come with me. I thought that the only way that I can do it is if I can get someone to come with me. And it's not something that a lot of people might be interested in doing. And it is a little on the expensive side, but she's like, no, this is what I want to do. And then she remembered that she had a best friend inside her all along. And I know that's so like cheesy to say, but it's the truth though. It's the truth. We shouldn't let anything hold us back from doing the things that we want. We should be our own best friend first and foremost, because if we aren't willing to be our own best friend, then how can you expect other people to want to be our friend? How do you expect other people to want to spend time with us and be with us if we can't do that within ourselves? I get it. It's cliche. It's cheesy to say. It's also very, very true. So if focusing on other people isn't something that you can do, then focus on yourself. Be selfish. Take this time to get to know yourself better, figure yourself out. Here's an idea. Treat yourself to a couple of books you can buy on Amazon. One called Fate is Bullshit, A Logical Guide to Happiness. And another one called The Logic of Me, A Guided Journal for Self-Discovery. Buy those 2 books. And then over the holidays, read them and do the exercises in them. And by the end of it, you will have such a better idea of who you are than you've ever had in your life. I mean, provided you do it honestly and answer honestly. Okay, that's enough for my shameless plug. That's it for this week. Ladies and gentlemen, Merry Christmas again. Happy New Year. You will hear from me, obviously, in the new year. And boy, oh boy, do I got something special for you. I was going to do it this week, but I figured, you know what? New year, new start. Anyways, you'll have to tune in next week. And how can you do that? Well, let me tell you. You can go to www. I don't even know why I said www. joyfrances.com, joyfrances.com. And there you can find my books, the 2 ones that I just mentioned that would greatly help you over this time. And there's also links to this podcast, the YouTube version, Spotify, Apple Music, the whole 9 yards, if you found this somewhere else, right? Yeah, I mean, that's it. That's all. So, I don't know. Because next week I said it's going to be a doozy. So I will say this to you. I hope you had an absolutely Merry Christmas. And I hope you will have a happy New Year's Eve and day. Because I think a couple days after that. Yeah. Something interesting is going to happen. Listen, don't compromise on who you are. Don't compromise on what you want. Go out into the world, be you, and fight for what you want, and don't accept any less. Until next time.